Hello all my beautiful snowflakes and welcome to this Your Fortune aka Thorn Princess wig tutorial. I bought the wig from AliExpress and you can find the link in the description box. I have tried on the wig first to see where I should cut the bangs to. That's why you see a hair clip in the bangs. The first thing we're gonna do is to secure the wig to the wig head, and we're gonna use needles for that. We're gonna make sure the wig is centered, and I do that by using my fingers at the ear tabs of the wig as a guide and then eyeballing to make sure the wig is centered. Then I secure the wig with a needle at the center, at both ear tabs, and in the back of the neck. And since our focus is mostly in the back, I will advise you to place the needles at an angle so the wig doesn't move for when we make her bun. Then we will start out with cutting her bangs, and I'm first gonna separate the bangs away from the rest of the hair. Then use a spray bottle with water to wet the bangs. We're gonna cut her bangs in the shape of a rainbow, and to do that we are first going to find the center of the bangs, then take our comb and make a small triangle. Then we are going to comb a triangle in a vertical line, and then use our index and middle finger to hold it and then cut the hair. And the reason why we're cutting it vertically is so the bangs will have a more feathered look. To make the bangs curve like a rainbow, we're going to take a new section from one of the sides and then collect it together with our center section. It's important that you hold the section in the center when you cut it, or else it would not create that rainbow effect. Then again, you take your index and middle finger and slide your fingers out to where you cut your center section, because the center section is your guideline to how short you're going to cut it. And I'm just going to show you one more time. Take your new section and collect it together with the center section. And remember to hold the section in the center, or else it will not have that rainbow curve. Use your index and middle finger to hold the section and slide them out to where your center section ends, because your center section is your cutting guideline. Then repeat the same steps on the other side. And here you can see that rainbow curve, and I really love the result, but I did end up making it less curvy, and I'm gonna show you in a bit how I did that. First we're gonna blow dry it. So, the bangs are kind of divided into a center, middle and side section, and to make the bangs less curvy, we are going to collect our middle and side section, and then instead of holding our new section in the center, we're going to hold it in the middle, and then the middle section is going to be our new cutting guideline. So you take your index and middle finger and slide them out to the edge of the middle section, and then you cut it. This is how the bangs turned out, and I'm going to style them a bit more like yours bangs when I'm wearing the wig. That will also be the time where I will do the final trimming if it's necessary. For now, I'm just gonna give it a bit of hairspray. Now that we are done with the bangs, we are moving on to her two front pieces. The wig I bought has a skin top on the front part of the wig, where the hair is already parted in the middle. I decided to part my two front pieces in the middle of the skin top, and then go all the way down to the ear tab of the wig cap. And as you can see, I'm only taking enough hair to make sure it covers the ear tab. And then I repeat the same thing on the other side. Then I check one last time to make sure that the two front pieces are evenly parted, and then I clip them away so they won't get in the way for when I make her bun in the back. Then we will start on the bun in the back, and we're gonna use a lot of hair elastics. We will divide the hair into different sections. The first section here is gonna be for her braids. I part the hair from the end of the skin top and then all the way down in a straight line, and then I tie it with an elastic. It will only be those two sections that will resemble her original hairstyle, which are the braids. I'm gonna make her bun a bit more elegant party bridal style, and that is because in some of her missions she has to attend high-class parties, and therefore I wanted her to look like I'm just an elegant lady, not here to kill anyone. And then I will repeat the same thing on the other side. Make a crown section. I'm first gonna comb the hair backwards, and then I will use my fingers to make the crown section. Once I have that, I will then choose one of the webs as my section guiding line to make sure the crown section is evenly parted all the way around. Once I'm done, I will clip it away so I can divide the rest of the hair into sections. Then the bottom part of the wig is gonna be divided into 3 sections, a middle section and 2 side sections. And I try to divide them evenly. It's also a good idea to make sure the needles in the neck are secured properly for when we make the bun. When you tie the elastic, make sure it's not all the way down at the adjustable tabs. Do tie the hair a bit higher so there is enough space for the bun. Also make sure that you collect all the hair and not leave anything out like I did here. this is how it will look from behind, and do make sure they are about the same height. Now we have divided the whole wig into sections, and now we can start on the bun. We will start with the crown section. We're gonna divide the crown section into 3 sections, where each section will be teased to give it volume. I will use a comb and some hairspray to tease it. I will first spray some hairspray to the roots and then use a comb to tease it. Once I'm satisfied, I would gently comb the top so it will have a smooth surface. Now try to only comb the top of the section so I won't ruin the volume. And then I also try to comb the tangles out at the end of the section. We do not want any tangles in the wig. You cannot see what I'm doing, but I am holding very tightly around the section, so I will only be combing out the ends and not accidentally combing out the volume. Once I'm done with that, I will repeat the same steps for the second and third section. Once I'm done with the third and last section, I will collect all sections and gently comb the top to create a smooth surface. Once I've done that, I will add some hairspray to secure it. And then I will gently pull a bit here and there to create more volume. Then I will tie it with an elastic just above the middle bottom section. Then I will do some final adjustments until I'm satisfied and then secure it with hairspray. And then it's time to make the bun, and this is where I could feel that I was working with a wig and not human hair. We're gonna take our bottom side section and divide it into 2 sections, and then we will twist them around each other, and along the way we will pull in the loops to create more volume. And this did not take me 1, nor 2, nor 3 tries, but 17 tries before I was partly satisfied with the outcome. I even had to stop recording because I couldn't make it cooperate with me. So after my heatful battle that really put my temper to a test, I went from "this has to look perfect" to "this will do." I managed to make the first twist that I secured with a lot of hairspray. And then I looked to my right and saw 2 Marons that I had to defeat. And I must admit, I felt very knocked out from the first round. But I had to keep going, it was too late to go back. Then for the middle section, we would take the bottom middle section together with the crown section so they will become one section. And then we will divide them into 2 sections and then twist them together. And this did also take some tries before I was satisfied with it. And once I was satisfied, I gave it a good amount of hairspray. And then for the last bottom side section, I do the exact same thing as I did with the first one. The whole twisting thing took me almost an hour to do, which it really shouldn't have, but here we are. So believe it or not, but we are actually gonna glue it together with a glue pistol. And I definitely recommend that you stock up on bobby pins and set the hair before you secure it in place with glue. I went with the flow and glued it together as I went, and you can do the same if you feel comfortable enough, but just be aware that once it's glued, it's stuck, you can't move it anymore. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this, then just use a lot of bobby pins, and I do recommend that you glue it in place so you don't have to restyle it every time you cosplay as your, but it's up to you, do what you feel comfortable with. So now, again, we will make the bun, but for real this time. We're first gonna take our left twist and take it underneath our middle twist and then over our right twist. And then for those of you who don't want to glue it right away, you take a bobby pin and secure it above the right twist. Where I pressed with my hand, there was a gap, and yours might not have one, but if there is one, you either secure it with a bobby pin or glue it in place. Then we will take the rest of our left twist and take it underneath the right twist, and then secure it either with bobby pins or glue. Once that is done, we will take our white twist and secure it over our middle twist, so it will hide the elastic from the crown section. Then we will take the right twist over to the beginning of the left twist and secure it so it will cover all of the wefts we can see from the wig cap. If some of the hair has fallen down, you just secure it back in place with bobby pins or glue. Then we will pull the rest of the right twist underneath the middle twist and secure it. Then it's time to set the middle twist, and this is pretty much freestyle. I shaped mine into the letter S but horizontal. I secured it with glue and bobby pins. Well, first I did make sure that the right and left twist was secured a bit better underneath. So while we watch me set the middle twist, I want to share my thoughts on how I made this bun. I love the end result of how this wig turned out, but I do regret gluing the bun on right away and not secure it with bobby pins first. Therefore, I will recommend to you that you secure it with bobby pins first and then glue it. I personally think I made the loops in the twist too big, and I think the bun will have looked more prettier if I had made the twist a bit smaller. But the biggest regret that I have was that I remembered too late that I should have made her bun into a rose instead, because she is known as the Thorn princess, and that is the main reason why I regret gluing the bun on. If I ever decide to recreate her wig, we will make it into a rose. I sound super confident when I say that, but to be honest, I really don't have much experience when it comes to making bridal hairstyles. Once I have glued the rest in place, I secure the whole thing with hairspray, and then I start cutting off all the hair that is sticking out here and there, and I also cut the glue strings off. We will go back to the cutting and final styling part later. Now we will move on to make her braids. So we're just gonna braid her hair into a normal braid, but we are gonna make sure that it covers the wefts of the wig cap. Take a comb and gently brush it so it will cover the wefts and also lay nicely towards the scalp. And then we will set it with some hairspray before braiding it. then I will start braiding it, but I do it on the hand instead, meaning I braid it underneath the middle instead of over it. I did that because, how do I explain this? The hair that's gonna cover the wefts cooperated better when I braided under instead of over. The hair covered the wefts better when I braided under instead of over. Yeah. So yeah, I braided the hair all the way down to the end, and then I gently pulled in the loops to give it more volume. And once I was satisfied, I gave the braid a good amount of hairspray on both sides. And then I tied the end with an elastic, and then I do the exact same thing on the other side. Then I will glue the braids around the bun, starting with the right braid. When it's time to take the braid underneath the bun, I pull the braid so it will sit tightly around the bun. Once I have secured the end of the braid, I cut the remaining hair off. And then I will repeat the same steps with the other braid. Then we will be continuing with the final cutting and styling part. I'm cutting all the loose hair off, and I'm also cutting the glue strings off, and then I do some final styling adjustments where I take my hairspray and my hairdryer to shape the bun into a position. And if the hairspray isn't strong enough in some places, I take some bobby pins to secure it. And that is all I will do for the last adjustments for the bun. So I'm pretty sure some of you might be a bit freaked out on this whole bun process, and that is completely okay. This was my first time making a bridal hairstyle in a wig, and it was a bit more difficult than what I have thought it would be. But I'm still pretty happy with the outcome. I know that some of you might find this level a bit too difficult compared to your skill level when it comes to cutting and styling a wig, and I'm saying this because a lot of beginners swing by at my channel. But I strongly believe that if you are patient and take breaks along the way, even a beginner will be able to make this hairstyle. Therefore, I also want to share some other bridal tutorials from other amazing creators on YouTube that I found inspiration from, and also the one that I follow to make this bun, which I recommend you also watch to get a better idea on how this bun is made. You can find them all in the description box. This is how the bun turned out, and there were some glue spots that I wasn't able to cut off, so therefore I spray painted the whole bun with black spray paint. The spray paint I used is not meant for wigs. I think it's meant for metallic objects or something. I'm not sure, but it worked out anyway. Then we are done with the bun, and now we move on to the two front pieces. I'm just gonna start off with apologizing because I did not place the camera correctly. But anyway, it's time to cut the two front pieces, and the first thing we will do is to comb the hair out, and then it is up to you to decide how long you want them to be, because in the manga they are super long and then in the anime they are to the shorter side, and I don't know what you want, so the decision is up to you. But if you are unsure, then let them stay long and you can cut them shorter later. Once you have decided how long you want it to be, we will then cut the remaining hair off in a downward angle. And I just want to tell you that it turned out so nice. And the past me will show you how it turned out, or at least attempt to show you, and then fail miserably. Good thing the present me will show you a picture. And then I will do the same thing on the other side. Then we are completely done with the wig, but I really wanted her headpiece to be attached to the wig so I didn't have to worry about it falling off. So this part is optional, but I will show you how I did it. I will use these press fasteners, so I have an option to detach the headpiece as well, and I will hot glue them onto the wig, and to make sure I don't burn myself, I will use a tweezer. I have already glued one side of the press fastener to the headpiece. I will then put the headpiece onto the wig and make sure it's centered, and then I will put glue on the other press fastener and then carefully glue it onto the wig head. And then we are done with the wig. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that you wanted to take some of your time to watch my tutorial, and I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions regarding the tutorial, do not hesitate to leave a comment and I will try to help you as good as I can. If you're curious about on how I made her dress and accessories, I can assure you that 2 separate tutorials on how I made them is in the making. So if you want to watch those 2 as well, do consider to subscribe so you won't miss them. But I will warn you that it's gonna take a while before they will be out, and I can't say when they will. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.